All right, let's see if we get Luke. If we don't, we will just get going, and then, like I said, when he jumps in, we'll just kind of weave him in.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're just trying to check with him. So everybody, just hang tight. Nope. Is that somebody at the door? There we go. That's Luke. Hey, Luke.
Hello. Sorry for
Nice to see you. Luke, just because we're running late, I will be very brief and quick with the summary. As soon as we get recording, we will do an introduction. I'll go through and introduce all of you. I will hand it over to each of you as the introduction. The time is usually about 2 to 3 minutes for each of the discussions. So when you give your introduction, when you're answering the questions, I will hold up the red mug as an indicator that you're going over time. Do your best to keep on track of time, but if you have good thoughts, let them go. At the end, we will leave about 5 minutes for you to give a pitch, share anything that you're working on, anything that you need help. And that's it. If there's any other questions, feel free to ask. If not, we will jump in and have recording get started. And we will make up the 3 or 4 minutes that we're behind here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. All right, let's get started. James, you want to hit the record on your side?
Yeah, well, I'm recording. Let's go ahead.
Cool. All right, welcome everybody to Jobs of the Future, navigating the workspace of the future. I'm your host, Sheikh. Today, we're going to embark on an exhilarating journey into the work in many decades from today and talk about much of the future opportunities. We have an extraordinary panel of visionaries along with me today. Luke, Jennifer, Sheikh, Sanjeev, thank you all for being here today. You're going to share some awesome insights on your thoughts on the emerging markets and the emerging jobs in those markets, the skills that we'll all need to have to keep building throughout those years. You're probably going to hit on how industries transform, which I'm excited to learn, and then the challenges that you see ahead, which we can all certainly learn and understand a little better. So for our audience, get ready to dive in. We're going to have exciting fun today. We're going to talk about careers and jobs that might not even exist yet, and those that are changing and shaping the future. There are going to be AI-driven roles, blockchain, Web3 roles, all sorts of cybersecurity roles. We're going to have a lot of fun. So let's get started. I'll get started with some brief introductions to introduce our panelists, and then we'll jump in and let them give their own introduction. Jennifer, thank you for joining us today. You are a trailblazer in cybersecurity, a champion for diversity and technology, and you are the director of Ireland at Women of Cybersecurity and a security engineer manager at Tenable. You've got an awesome, bright future ahead of you, safeguarding our future, and thank you for refining it for us as well. A whole bunch of awards, including being named one of the top women in social innovation in 2024. You're a multi-winning advocate. We conducted over 100 one-on-one mentoring sessions in just the last year or so. Get ready, everybody. This is going to be an exciting session. Jennifer, please give your introduction here.
Yeah, so I'm excited to be a part of this today. We always spend our time in tech talking about the future, and of course, a lot of the work that I've been doing on the diversity side is trying to protect that and make sure that the future is actually inclusive of everybody. So for me, all of the technical stuff you have covered, but the inspirational stuff hopefully is still to come.
Cool. Thank you, Jennifer, very much. Sanjeev, we'll jump over to you. You're revolutionizing how we think of assets in the digital space. You are the co-founder and CBO of Zoniqx, and you've been in the forefront of asset tokenization since 2017. Can you give us a intro or dive into some of your innovative work?
Hey, thank you so much, Shai. So, yeah, so we call it as just jobs of the future. We call it as future of finance, and that's basically what our we are democratizing the future of finance by using blockchain to have tokenized real world assets. And we've been in this space since 2017, and yeah, we've done almost good number of use cases with the institutions, the leading institutions, actually kind of giving them their assets, physical assets, to converting them into digital assets. So the space is, the adoption has quite increased a lot since past couple of years, and I think this is the time for all of us to know there are ample of jobs are going to be getting into this space from traditional finance to the DeFi.
Awesome. Well, thank you much. Sheikh, we'll hand it over to you, and then we'll jump over to Luke and keep us moving forward here.
So, I mean, very similar space to Sanjeev, which is real world asset tokenization. We've been in the space for a year. I've personally, my background is more technical, innovating into the tech industry. And I've got patents under my name in the cloud gaming space, and building really highly scalable, low latency server-side technologies historically over the last 20 years. Now, real-world asset tokenization, as Sanjeev said, is the future of finance, and that's where we are innovating. We are trying to unlock this $500 trillion of liquidity, which is not going to be used, and it's a dead money for the users. So we are trying to unlock that using automation and technology. And then once you unlock it, we tokenize it, you leverage it with all sort of DeFi loans and make potential positive use cases and impacting the financial economy.
Thank you very much, Sheikh. I appreciate that. Luke, we're going to jump over to you. The last one here is a career transition alchemist. You've been transforming professionals with diverse backgrounds into tech industry stars. You have a background in data privacy as well, you've helped countless individuals pivot into the world of technology, often as little as under a year. You have 14,000 followers on your LinkedIn and a track record of success stories, helping others, including yourself, navigate the job market. Could you please share a little background about yourself and give us some detail here?
Yes, thank you very much, and nice to meet you people, and thank you for the invitation. So I was on Friday, but my camera wasn't working. I just was hearing, and it was great. So so I'm happy to be today. So I, like you said, Shai, I'm working in IT. I made a career transition into IT, and from environmental protection, now I'm helping people. So I have the two specializations. One is IT, and I'm using these AI tools to make the data analysis better. And after that, with passion and hobby, evening or in the nights, I'm helping people make career transition into tech industry without experience. So thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, everybody, for being here. To round it off, my name is Shai. I'm the host for today. I'm a 28-year IT veteran. I started off in the military many years ago. In the last 6 years, I was at AWS as a global technology leader, leading the Web3 partner organization. Had a wonderful time as a principal architect and leading the ecosystem growth and build out for Web3 and blockchain across the ecosystem and AWS's 100 plus to 200 services. In the last year, I've been building my own consultancy as an independent consultant, advising startups, VCs, accelerators, and Web2 enterprise leaders on understanding how to build in the intersection of Web3, blockchain, AI, machine learning, and all this cool emerging tech that we're hearing about every single day. I have the awesome opportunity of being the host today. I feel very fortunate to be with all of you. We're going to run through a couple of questions. Really love to hear your thoughts and perspectives. We'll try to keep everybody on track as far as time goes, and then we'll leave about 5 to 10 minutes at the end for kind of open discussion, and then we'll wrap up for the end of today. So let's start off with Jennifer, with you as our first guest here. You've been deeply involved in cybersecurity. I'd love to know what jobs and roles you anticipate over the next 20 years.
Sure. So cybersecurity is something that I guess is exponential, a fair word to use. Like it at least feels like it's going in that direction. There's always talk about all the job roles that are open now, and there's never enough people to fill it. That said, there's new technologies coming in now that are going to make parts of those roles easier to do. It's not going to make them redundant, essentially. But what we will see is with increased use of all of that technology, like AI technology, we're seeing more and more people being able to effectively hack and do it faster and better than they've ever done it before. So naturally, we, like with everything in cybersecurity, have to compete against that by trying to keep up the pace that goes with it. So I think when it comes to jobs in cybersecurity, both now and in the future, but faster in the future, what you're going to need to be able to do is you're going to need to be constantly like a chameleon, that you're going to have to be able to move and change with all of the changes that come. In other industries, less so, you know, you'll change the flavor of what you do maybe, but when it comes to cybersecurity, the pace at which you have to upskill and change things is pretty dramatic. So with all of that, then is going to come a need to regulate it. So we've all these new technologies that are coming in, all of these new ways of using the technologies than we had before. So like ChatGPT was a great fun tool for everybody to use, but now it's being used in the workplace as well. So what we found is that people are chasing that with regulatory bodies are chasing that innovation. Nobody wants to slow down innovation, but they do want to make it safe for everybody to use. So I think when it comes to the jobs of the future, and that we will need people who are going to be able to effectively progress all of those AI tools further, and then alongside that, people that are going to be able to keep up with the regulatory capabilities that are needed in order to make those tools ethical and safe for people to use that are maybe not necessarily so technically capable.
Well, thank you for that, Jennifer. I really appreciate the way that you ended off there, right? Is the opportunity for the tools to accelerate those that are technically not capable, right? And it's really about the tools being part of us as humanity and helping us as humanity do better, not the other way around. Sanjeev, let's turn it over to you, right? You have a ton of experience in tokenization and blockchain, one of my passions as well. I'd love to have an open-ended perspective from you too. What new jobs do you foresee in our tech sectors in the next 20 years?
Sure, Shai. So I think you know, the future of finance, you know, what we call it as is since 2017 we've been seeing tremendous growth from the institutions adoption as well, because earlier you know, because these are highly you know, security and compliant, you know, space. So basically you need to actually have, you know, regulations and, you know, compliance to actually are there in terms of, you know, converting any digital any real world assets interest to a physical you know, physical assets interest to a, you know, digital interest. So I think in terms of, you know, we seeing this space, the adoption from, you know, the institutions has increased, but there's still, you know, there's a long way to go. But I think most of these organizations have actually got into the you know, digital assets departments. They've actually, you know, kind of run exclusively now in terms of, you know, moving this space, the adoption more faster. And I believe considering, you know, the financial and tech sectors, the advancements of tokenizations, blockchain would probably will create, you know, ample of jobs. What I see is that, and I see more the emergence of tokenization analysts who could probably specialize in converting real world assets into digital tokens. You know, probably you can think about more ensuring compliance and interoperability. So I think, you know, these kind of roles would also be, you know, kind of adding up with a new form of, you know, kind of profiles, which would probably get created soon. There's another thing like blockchain compliance officers will probably crucial for, you know, kind of navigating the complex regulatory landscape, because as these are securities, and this securities actually changes the you know, compliance based on the jurisdiction of an asset class. I see decentralized finance, which is DeFi, what we call it as decentralized finance strategist, would probably develop innovative financial products, because the new products are coming up and services leveraging decentralized, you know, kind of platforms. I believe smart contracts developers are going to be definitely more in demand, especially, you know, for focusing more on the coding and you know, kind of maintaining the secure and, you know, efficient smart contracts. So I think these positions would have you know, huge you know, impact on changing the future of finance and creating the digital asset space in tokenization of real world assets.
Thank you, Sanjeev. An important takeaway that I got from that was, if you're a developer, continue to learn new languages, challenge yourself to learn new things there. And if you're an economist, somebody on the financial side, learn about this tokenization side. I very much feel like a tokenization analyst myself, as a father of four, always looking for opportunities for blockchain in my house. So my kids are like, don't tokenize anything else. Don't tokenize our games. So yeah, very fun stuff there. So Sheikh, let's go to you next. You're similar in the space to Sanjeev here. I'd love to also pick your brain too, right? What are some of the roles that you see, given your perspective?
Right. So I would start with a very interesting story just to understand the perspective. In 1930s, there was a building in Manhattan occupying thousands and thousands of insurance analysts. And what was the job of this insurance analyst? Calculating the insurances, which is done by today by the software, by Excel sheets. So all those jobs are zero now. Now, does that mean that the insurance industry has lost the jobs? No, absolutely not, because there are so many other spaces which has created so many other opportunities because of the technology. This is exactly what I believe is going to happen with AI, blockchain, and emerging technologies, that the fear by humans that, oh, AI is going to take over us and all the jobs are going to be replaced, that's not going to be the case. It will be our existing jobs they will be replaced, but the new opportunities will come in place, like Jennifer said earlier, which means the nature of opportunity is going to change. A blockchain developer who's working today as a blockchain developer may well be working as maybe quantum-based blockchain developer, which means there will be more and more challenges pushed by the quantum computing to break this 51% rule to take a control of the blockchain network. So you need to have these resources who can build smart contracts which are compliant to quantum computing. Similarly, with the tokenization, I would see more opportunities for the resources coming through, including a tokenization compliance officer, which we don't see today, but in future, I can clearly see that opportunity is going to be arising. And also AI-based, automation-based officers who are making sure that the AI is actually used for best of the capability and not for its negative points, and it's always putting a control and checks on the utility and the tools. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities. One of the other areas could be where the AI is learning, so self-learning, but there is also a fear or a danger that the self-learning cannot outpace or outthink humans. So there needs to, again, there is a problem, comes the opportunity by humans, which means there needs to be a compliance officer who's always checking on the implementation of AI algorithms and making sure that the self-learning is not going beyond the controls of humans. So to be very honest, I see this exciting times, and this time is going to help us move forward with making our lives better.
Well, Sheikh, thank you very much. I really appreciate the insight there. I love the way that you started with the story, right? Of history is a good opportunity to learn that things do repeat themselves, and we were in a similar place in the past of being scared of technology. It's about looking for those opportunities. Great way to put it. Luke, I wanted to challenge you here going last, as a transition last with all the awesome people that you've worked with in the past. What are some of the awesome roles that you see, right? Given this hybrid environment that we're living in today, if you looked in that future, what are you seeing from your perspectives?
Yeah, so I like also the statement that these AI roles will be just also the opportunities for people that they will not lose the jobs. And this is what I am also getting the questions like, okay, if it's still the chance to get into IT and for what roles. So this is what happening right now, this change. But when I was thinking and searching for the roles in the future, and what I'm thinking, it's a few industries. So first of all, like medicine industry and all these doctors, like telemedicine physician, which you remember the COVID times when even I had the consultation with the doctor via phone. It was strange, but with all these devices which we'll have, we'll get the opportunity to check our pressure and have some kind of exams did in our homes. So it's very nice. Also, no code, low code specialists. So all these software engineers, I think this is my personal one, for that they will be using less and less coding. They will be just using the chunks provided by AI. And this low code, no code is happening right now. I had already client who just get into this industry from marketing. So it's a very nice perspective. And also change managers, digital transformation specialists. My wife is change manager. It's a huge opportunity on the job market right now, and a lot of demand from employers to hire this kind of people. And all the specialists connected with agri-tech, like drones, checking the soil health and condition, and going. So this is also very interesting possibility for the future. And renewable energy engineer, for example, when you are just have the solar, wind, and you have to make everything into one piece with these batteries, accumulators, and have the system. So I'm building a house right now, so I know a little about. I have to just be curious and find out more about this kind of role. So thank you. This is how I am seeing what industries and what kind of very interesting roles waiting for people in the future.
Thank you, Luke, for sharing your insights. I love your focus on change and adaptability there, right? Because as the industry changes and adapts, so do we have to as well. That's a very good call out there, amongst many other things that everybody said. So that's really the way I like starting, right? The show is all about talking about emerging technology, the roles of the future, the things that we see, and we have awesome panelists like the ones that just went right now, talking about their view and their perspectives of the future. So we're going to keep talking about, and we're going to keep digging into these roles and jobs of the future. And I want to really go into the skills that we need, right? Some of the education that we need to be getting, right? And so thinking of those future jobs and roles, if I'm in a job and role today, what are some of those skills and education that I need to get? Right? We talked about Solidity and learning to develop for blockchain. That's one that's top of my mind as a blockchain architect. Sheikh, I want to start with you, right? Given your focus on tokenization, you talked a bit about AI. You gave a wonderful story there about the history and similar to AI today. What are those skills and the education that you think we need to hone in on?
I think at the moment, all the innovation in the technology for the non-tech side, non-tech people, they are just aware of the technology or they just know the technology. However, to be able to go into the future, we should be able to learn emerging skills at an advanced level. For example, if there is an AI, you need to understand what's in the AI, how it's working, how the machine learning works, all the algorithms or data science. We need to adopt how to send instructions to the tools and get leverage from the tools by sending them instructions. If we look at older generations, when we didn't have the mobile phones, so older generations in the current day and time, they may find initially hard to learn using the apps and all that stuff, but with time they have adopted. Similarly, we would need to adopt to learn these technical skills, which is an advanced level technical skills, how the security works. We need to take ownership of the technical implementation of the details of the space, and this will help us to then learn, adopt, and leverage and utilize the technology in the best possible way. So learning is going to be the key. We cannot be, kept out of the space just because it's complicated or it's difficult. We need to be part of the system to be able to benefit from it.
Cool. Thank you for that, Sheikh. I appreciate it. Luke, I want to go over to you, right? Given some of what Sheikh said there and the importance of education, right? How do you see the importance of formal education, right, versus sort of this hybrid and ad hoc education that we have? How do you see that changing the way that we learn over the next few decades?
This is complicated topic, but I love the education at all. We are just all the time talking with my wife about how to raise our children to be adapted to this dynamic world. So what I'm thinking, and I think that we or universities or the schools should be more focused on practice, not on theory. What I mean is just going to having the different kind of interests, cooperation with employers, and making so going to the field from the also technological things like using ChatGPT, at least making prompts, having the code to write or just make the algorithms for the AI, so statistics and some kind of skills. So going into this area as the first one. Second one, I think for this formal education, more flexibility and accessibility. So it should be something like you have possibility to learn from home. You have some kind evening events like evening boot camps or some kind of upskilling courses also, which would be you can attend from home, or you have the possibility on your university. Plus, of course, not forgetting about soft skills like community, networking, having the people around you which wants to learn also, and have the possibility for you to have some kind of group to learn the new skills. And what kind of skills? Analytical thinking, creative thinking. I would add communication skills, which are very important. So this is my point of view. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. I love how you wrapped up on communication there, right? Given the time and the session today, right? It's about communication, learning how to communicate. The more you learn how to communicate, the more you can learn what other people need to know and what information they need, and you can be much more effective in helping in that situation and be much more valuable to the organization. Thank you for that insight there. Let's move on to Jennifer, right? When we were talking last week a bit, and we were discussing different roles in the future world, right? The cyber ethicist and the AI security auditor particularly came to mind. Given your depth in the security space, can you talk to us about the skills needed for those roles, maybe some other roles that you talked about earlier? What are the skills and things that we need to learn if we're a cybersecurity engineer or anybody in the cybersecurity space?
Sure. So there's a whole host of technical skills that people can learn to participate in those roles, to do those roles. But I think what's key when it comes to ethics and I guess guidance around best practices and things like that is really the human skills, which I know that Luke kind of covered it a little bit, but I would take it a little bit further and say that for people to be EQ savvy or have an understanding of the psychology of humans and combine that, whether it's with cybersecurity or with anything that has been spoken about so far on this, the further we get and the deeper we get into technology, the more removed people are from each other, typically. And during COVID, we all learned how to cope and build our networks through screens. But what we are only understanding now are the psychological impacts of not managing that well during the time. So if people are equipped to have EQ skills or psychological understanding of how humans work, and then you combine that with any new technology, because I'm a big believer that any tech can be taught to almost anyone, right? I would say almost anyone. So, but when if people have the soft skills side of it and then you combine the two of them together, that's the real sweet spot. And I think that's going to determine the success of any technology in the future, if you can tap into the psychological need, how people are going to react to it, get people on board. I'm not talking just marketing and sales. I'm talking about understanding, especially in cybersecurity, if you can get into the psychology of people that are attempting to attack. That, it may be political motivation, but what's behind all of that from the individual sense of things. If you can understand all of those things, then you're coming at it from a much more robust and broader kind of perspective. And I think anybody that has a tool set that adds to it those additional soft skills, then that puts them streets ahead of anybody else in every other area, whether it's adaptability, whether it's leadership, whether it's creativity, innovation, all of those things, because they don't go anywhere unless you can understand the people that are going to use it, that you're going to market it to, that you're aiming for all the time. And with that has to come a certain amount of a psychological understanding of what makes people tick. We use it for sales. We use it for some tech creation already. We use it in almost every other industry, but we don't use it nearly enough in the technical side. Not nearly enough we do in the technical sales side. But if you think about the technical creativity and innovation side, we're always so focused on what's cool and what's new and what's useful. But if we can add into the psychological and EQ side into that as well, then I think we hit a whole other level of productivity and functionality from there. It's just gonna become part of people's lives. So I think those kind of skills will take people above most everyone else.
Well, Jennifer, thank you for digging into them. Let's continue on that theme of soft skills and building up our communication. Sanjeev, you have a unique insight into the fintech and finance world, and I want to dig in and share some insights for our financial listeners and viewers. Can you share some of your insights on how you view the skills and education needs for the financial roles in the future?
Sure. I think the future of finance is actually literally transforming from the products which we've never existed up till today. Like think about it. Like today, if I give you an option of buying something, a Louis Vuitton outlet in Champs-Élysées for a investment of $10,000, right, or probably a Burj Khalifa, a share of $10,000, and all these products would probably be kind of the financial advisors are going to be like pushing it to you as a new product, and it's a new product, it's a new skill. So I think these are new skill sets which are actually going to be getting developed. I see the financial advisors will probably undergo a significant transformation with the current rise of decentralized finance, and the DeFi is something which is plays a very huge role in this space. The traditional finance advisors will probably become kind of a DeFi advisors, equipped with like kind of deep understanding of how the DeFi works in blockchain with using blockchain technology in terms of building the decentralized financial instruments, because they will help the clients to navigate the decentralized exchanges or yield farming opportunities, staking mechanism, and these kind of products would eventually run into this space where I think about it like, because BlackRock has just put an exchange. Now these products are going to be getting kind of transacted on these different exchanges as well, besides NASDAQ. So I think these this is a huge change, and the advisory role will shift from merely providing investment advice to offering holistic guidance on the leveraging decentralized platform for our optimal financial growth is what I see this space moving along. So I think that's something which is where we see a huge shift from building the new products and adopting the new products from the institutions and creating new different rules for this particular space.
Awesome, Sanjeev. Thank you very much. I love how you said the holistic roles and understanding of what needs to be done, right? And that ties into Jennifer's mention of, what makes people tick and understanding of the different pieces that are there. So I love how you're both digging into the psychological aspect. As we get less and less of the mundane work, we elevate who we are as society and culture. So that's awesome to hear that resonate from both of you. So we wrapped up the skills and education side. Let's dig into a little more about industry transformations and some of the jobs that we see along with those industry transformations. Luke, we'll start off with you, right? What traditional industries do you think will undergo the most dramatic job transformations due to tech integration?
Okay, so I have also a few industries which I think which can be most affected. So first of all, education and training. According to the very nice report, which I like, Future of Jobs reports from World Economic Forum, 81% of companies looking to adopt education and workforce development technologies. So going for these online platforms, how to all these cameras, this 360 degrees and so on. So I think we are going into Star Wars area. So so I think it can be very nice opportunity also for people to learn new skills and go into this one. Plus, it will be huge change there. Oil and gas and generally energy and environment. Here in Europe, they are pushing us to buy electric cars right now. So I think in 2035 we have to ride this kind of vehicles. So I think everything is going into just making more and more and most adaptable and saving energy products, which forcing people to make this transformation in also in this industry. So like I said before, medical, once again, it will be huge change. Also, this medicine from home, these devices which you can buy already, and you have everything diagnosed in your home. It's I was surprised because I was just doing the research for my family, and I was so surprised that we have already so nice devices there that you can examine all your family, not coming from your home to the doctor. So it's great. And supply chain and this transport. So they are saying also in this report that they will have e-commerce grow by 75%. So there will be a lot of opportunities for new jobs there, like e-commerce managers and having the AI data-driven databases there. So of course, these financial services like Sanjeev and Sheikh were saying, so this is also the industry which I think it will be affected the most. So thank you.
Cool. Look, thank you for setting the stage there, giving us that wide purview. Sanjeev, I want to dig into a little bit what you said before, because we were talking about how we see jobs in the future for real estate and asset tokenization on the finance side, and how they're going to evolve over time. You touched a bit on the technology as well. Can you maybe dig into a bit more about the day-to-day, and what do you see a day-to-day like role for somebody in the future, and how that technology affects them on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I actually worked in this space for almost 15 years. I used to manage, the assets for the family offices and royal families back in Dubai. And now I see with this, and that's one of the reasons that when we started this company, we thought why I cannot have some kind of a and different asset which all these wealthy investors would probably invest, and I can probably have a fraction of it, and I can own it, and I don't have to kind of a mercy of my GP to give me an access to exit out of my investment. So I think I see tokenization and blockchain would actually create a huge kind of an exposure in this real estate and asset management space, especially when probably you could probably see real estate tokenization specialists would probably become an essential, focusing on digitizing the property assets and managing tokenized real estate portfolios. Probably blockchain real estate brokers, and that's one of the very upcoming kind of a profile which even in the US we see that the real estate authority regulatory authority is actually kind of issuing such kind of profiles now, because these will facilitate transactions on blockchain platforms and kind of ensuring transparency and efficiency for the whole processes. In asset management roles, like digital asset managers will become kind of a emerging and overseeing tokenizing asset portfolios would definitely be definitely are there, and now it'll be probably more because these particular roles would actually developing strategies to maximize returns to the investors, and so instead of you talking to kind of the traditional asset managers, they are going to be now digital asset managers. So and I think there could be also blockchain property valuers will probably use blockchain data to provide accurate and kind of property valuations, and those roles will actually demand a combination of kind of a real estate knowledge and a blockchain proficiency. So I think these kind of roles would come up with in this asset management space soon, is what we can see this now.
Cool. Very, very interesting perspective there, Sanjeev. Thank you for sharing that. Jennifer, I want to dig into your perspectives as well in the cybersecurity space. It's one I share as well from my past roles. When we think about those traditional cybersecurity roles that we have today, and we look at the importance of cybersecurity and how it continues to increase as we have AI and all this other tech that's around us and distributed computation with blockchain, how do we see some of those more traditional roles evolving? And let's focus on the next couple of years. And what should some of those engineers and people in those roles be focused on when it comes to their transformation of the industry around them?
I have to admit, when I went into cybersecurity first, I was thinking it was going to be more of a Minority Report style thing, with all the multiple screens and switching and moving things around. But what we tend to do a lot, and we're still doing a lot in cybersecurity, is a lot of it is reactive to things. There's a lot of proactive work that you can do, but I guess a lot of companies still leave the work until they're in a reactive state, which is far from ideal. I think when it comes to the changes and moves in the industry, it's more about understanding how to bind all that stuff together, but also how to communicate it to the masses. So I understand cybersecurity, and like you say, you know, from your background, you understand it too. And I think anyone that works in the tech industry does. But when you take your percentage of people that work in the, like even in cybersecurity, something like, I don't know what it was, 5.5 million that work in it across the world, that doesn't barely scratch the surface of all of the people who actually need to use it. So I can see a lot of those skills, and there's already beginning to be a need for it, of adapting all of that knowledge and putting it into a way that makes sense for the rest of the of humans as such, to be able to understand it and put it into practice themselves. So I think more simplified tools for people to be able to use, which is almost like a contradiction in terms of you're going to use simplified tools as an individual and expect them to be able to protect you against the hacker. But, you know, it's the future. What's not possible, really? Is there anything impossible? But I think the ability to be able to ensure that everybody understands that they have an expectation to be aware of cybersecurity, and that they have a responsibility to implement it, whether it's on a personal level at home with their families, or whether it's on a level with work, that has to come into play then.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that perspective, Jennifer. Sheikh, I'll call on you last here as we wrap up this particular section. You know, how do you envision the roles in your sector around traditional assets, you know, changing with all this technology change, given some of the security dimensions that Jennifer mentioned as well, AI, right? What are you seeing from your perspective around the industry?
I think the roles are going to be evolving, as the other panelists have said earlier. All the roles will be evolving. And it's just a matter of making sure that we are actually evolving our own skills with the evolving rules. For example, if there is an asset manager or token who would want to now work in the tokenization space, they would need to be familiar with the semantics and technical implementation.
Might have lost Sanjeev there for a moment. See if he comes back.
Understanding and learning of the skills, and that's where we all need to be. I mean, that's where we need to potentially implement our energies. Also, regarding the implementation of the laws, for example, if there is a smart contract, you can write the smart contract, but how do you make sure that it's actually compliant with the legal jurisdiction? Hence, there's a need for implementation engineer, or a law or a contract law engineer, or a contract law lawyer. So these are all new opportunities where people need to use their existing knowledge and education and experience, and then adopt it to the new changing environment. So more like a transition from one old space to a newer space, and then, you know, we can add value, we can be part of the system. Real estate metaverse, I mean, the brokers are, at the moment, they are doing it through the websites, but once the properties are going into the metaverse, they would need to adopt into virtual tours, virtual property tours managers, for making sure that properties are compliant, it's doing all the regulation compliant checks, and then the tours are taking place within the app, and these guys are actually operating them and probably controlling them in a way as well. So that's another space regarding virtual tours. Connecting in the metaverse, how different metaverses are connecting and talking to each other. So an opportunity comes where you need to define standard protocols, open banking. So there's so many. I mean, every space has its own. Making sure you implement the open banking protocols where different institutions are talking to each other in a standardized way. So, I mean, plenty of work to do, but we need to make sure that obviously we're doing the right thing at the right time and learning from it.
Cool. Thank you, Sheikh, for taking us down the bit of a rabbit hole of the banking and the bit of the regulation there, and the legal side, right? And you bring up a lot of good points around challenges, right? And that's why I want to get into the next section here. And as a reminder for the listeners and everybody on the session, listen to the recording, you know, our focus is really on understanding the jobs of the future, right? What are some of those emerging roles? And we talked a lot about opportunities that we foresee for those new roles in the industries that will change around them. But there's always challenges. And to me, I like phrasing challenges as opportunities, right? Those are things that we can go out there and tackle if we get ahead of them today. And you know, there was a mention there, I think, Jennifer, you were talking about being proactive in the security space, it's also being about proactive in our industries. So let's talk about some of the challenges that we foresee, and let's try to finish off and focus and phrase it as an opportunity in this space, right? Luke, we'll start off with you, and something that's really near and dear to my heart, right? What are some of the unique challenges and opportunities that you foresee for maybe mid-career professionals that are looking to adopt and change their job around over the next couple of years?
So, like you said, Shai, I think and Jennifer said that this proactive, it's for all proactiveness, being proactive. It's characteristic for all industries, and I think that this is a big challenge for all the job seekers. Not only this mid-career, but also now the job market for juniors is very, very tough. So only just sending CV is not enough. In most cases, it's just you have to do something. You have more channels to get the job, and so this will be also the skill to learn how to be present in not only in CV or on different platforms like LinkedIn to build your personal brand and be visible. So this is the one skill which I think employees will have to adapt, and this is happening right now. And what I'm seeing, there is a huge gap and people don't know this. So this is my private mission also to help them to understand a little this portal, how this is working, how it's working, and how you can bring the value to the table. So another thing, constant learning and developing your skills. So it's not like you will be lying in your, or you will be sitting 5 years and doing the same thing. You will have to adapt very fast. So fast learners, and balancing learning and work. So where to learn new things, and when to learn new things, and find the time between your daily task. So just usual work. So thank you very much.
Cool, Luke. Thank you very much for giving us. I'm going to keep us moving along here. Jennifer, you talked about EQ and diversity and quite a long list of awards to back you up there. Can you please share your perspectives on really the challenges that you foresee in ensuring that we maintain workforce diversity and inclusivity as we evolve in the job force around us?
Sure. I think the biggest challenge we're going to have for at least the next 50 years is that most of the data that's out there that we're pumping into AI and all of these huge databases is already biased. Because, I mean, I don't need to spell it out, but for anyone who didn't know, that everything that's already gone into the internet prior to now has been biased, that it's been primarily entered by, one kind of person. So that will have to be remedied from there. But I mean, it's not a big fix that's needed. And I think as things are changing and moving forward, it's going to naturally happen, because you can't continue forward when people are so aware that half of the population isn't being catered for. It can't continue this way without some sort of a comeuppance, shall we say, for it. So I think naturally some of that's going to be being resolved in the nature of things. And I just wanted to support something that Luke was saying there. I think you can choose, like, there's two paths that people will take in their career. There wasn't always, like, you chose, like, what did you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a teacher, and then you're a teacher for the rest of your life. That kind of stuff doesn't happen anymore. Now you get to either choose the path that you're going to take, or take the path that's been given to you. So when it comes to the workforce, you'll just fit whatever need there is and take the job that's given to you. But if you want to actually be excited about what you do and be creative and excel and move forward and create new and different and wonderful things for the human population of the future, then you've got to drive that path forward. And a lot of the time that isn't just through the work that you do, it's through additional things that you do outside of work, initiatives, groups that you're involved in, people that you coach and encourage. And that's how that diversity really actually spreads, is by people connecting in ways beyond just the workplace. And then it's like an organism, it'll grow by itself and look after itself from there. But people have to be cognizant of it. And the people that tend to do it are the ones who want to achieve big things, or who want to just make little differences. Both of those lead to great changes in the future. So I think that's how we do it.
Cool, Jennifer. Thank you very much. I really caught on to that, little changes along the way. Sheikh, just to keep moving us forward here, right? What are some of the challenges that you see when you think about the roles that you work with on a day-to-day basis?
As we can see, the job of the technology is to make our lives better. I can see that the humans can potentially move into a comfort zone. So a challenge could be where we need to come out of our comfort zone and move into the growth zone, because the value can only be added in the growth zone. So this is going to be a key. This is so easy to miss that, you don't even realize the technology is helping you so much, and you just get lost. So that's going to be something which we need to be conscious of. And also, the education needs to be value driven, which means the old education of academic qualification. Before, we used to talk about degrees, but just at the introduction of this conference, Shai, yourself, you mentioned about Luke, that he's got 15,000 followers. So you're introducing him with the followers, which means the branding is going to be key. So for us, we need to be aware that branding, having a presence, having an impact in the social media, and value-based branding is going to be a challenge for us. And to be able to add value there, we need to be aware of that. So that challenge is there, because it's easier said than done to be able to implement that. And also the machine learning, because as we discussed earlier, in the tech space, the machine learning is getting cleverer and cleverer every single day. And with the introduction of quantum computing, with all the superpowers given to the computers, there is always a danger that the machine learning gets so big that it becomes, or it outthinks the humans. So we need to make sure that regulations are in place, that machine learning is in control, it's always in check, and the engineers, the innovators are working with the regulators to keep it intact.
Well, thank you, Sheikh. I appreciate your perspective there. Sanjeev, we're going to wrap it up with you. Thinking about the rise of remote work that we've had over the last couple of years, this concept of digital nomadism and people moving into whole new islands and areas and building completely new cities and disconnected environments entirely. What are some of those new working, and how do you think those new working arrangements are really going to challenge the future of work?
Yeah, I think we have been experiencing this because Web3 space is so dynamic. Actually, it's the people are actually kind of really digital nomad. I mean, I've been like working in kind of a digital nomad since almost 2.5 years. Multiple countries, visiting all these institutions to making them aware of how the digital assets should actually grow within their their ecosystem. I think remote work and digital nomadism are kind of like reshaping this whole job market, I believe. And they are going to be creating new roles and work arrangements. Like companies kind of like will probably increasingly hire more remote work coordinators, because I see that kind of an issue where managing this remote work the employees, or probably the kind of colleagues of remote work coordinators would probably manage more distributed teams to ensure kind of the communication is right, the productivity is increasing within this this whole digital nomad space. I think and of course what I see could probably be a digital workspace designers, like kind of like will be like tasked to creating new virtual environments that could actually kind of accelerate the collaboration and innovation within the team. So such kind of roles would probably come up in this space. I also see kind of remote operations managers would probably kind of oversee the whole logistics and aspects of remote work, and of course from the technology infrastructure and compliance perspective as well. These trends would probably kind of push this whole new kind of a Web3 economy facilitators, who could probably help freelancers, digital nomads to find multiple different opportunities and kind of manage their careers. So I think the future of workplace will definitely be more flexible, kind of a borderless, and adaptive to the needs of global workforce. I think that's something which is I see in this remote work and digital nomad space would probably kick off soon.
Awesome. Thank you all for your insights that you've shared today. I've learned so much, and there's so many things going through my head of all the opportunities that you've discussed about the future of work, right? And I think about how much the things that we've discussed mimic the stories and novels and things that we've heard that are coming from years and decades of lore and novels and all these cool things. And how the future is really about the connection between humans, right? That as technology takes on more and more of the regular mundane, that importance of connection in the workplace, of diversity, inclusion, opportunities, how you work in the future, all these things are so key, and it's so mimicry of what we see in science fiction and some of the novels that we've seen in the past, right? Humans have to come together, and that's how we build a better humanity in the future. So with a couple minutes left, I'll give you each about 60 seconds on the clock. Please share with us, how does the audience get in touch with you? How do they learn more about you? How do they get connected with what you're doing? And if you need help in any particular areas, if you have any call to action, do let us know. And so we'll kick it off with 60 seconds. Jennifer, I'll start with you first, and then we'll go around the clock. Go.
Sure. I'm on LinkedIn. It's Jennifer M. Cox. If you're looking for me, I'm always happy to chat with people there. You mentioned yourself earlier that I had done 100 one-to-ones with people since I pledged to do it last September. So I do tend to hop on calls and do one-to-ones as people need it. And I'm always interested to hear what people have got to say.
Awesome, Jennifer. Thank you very much. Thank you for keeping it
Sure.
short. Sanjeev, we'll jump over to you.
Yeah, I think I'm also on LinkedIn. It's Sanjeev, .Birari, I believe, and you can reach out to my company called Zoniqx, Zoniqx.com. I think we are basically into digital asset space and predominantly in the RWA tokenization space, where we're talking to a lot of new innovators and the people who could want to know more about this space, because we have almost like 8 years of experience in this space in driving this digital assets, and RWA tokenization.
Awesome, Sanjeev. Thank you very much for that. Sheikh, we'll go over to you, and then we'll wrap up with Luke.
So again, LinkedIn, Sheikh Fahad, and the company website is superlentinc.com. So do reach us. And if you're looking to tokenize your business trade credits, if you got locked liquidity, personal or commercial assets, get in touch and we would be happy to help. You can also send us an email at contact@superlentinc.com. Thank you.
Yep, and then for clarity, if you're searching Sheikh Fahad on LinkedIn, make sure you put in Superlens as well.
Yeah.
There's
Because there's another one. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we had that confusion earlier. Sure.
Well, thank you. So Luke, let's move on to you, and please share with us and how people connect with you as well.
Okay, so I already sent some invitation. We are connected with Shy. I think Sheikh, you accepted my invitation, and I hope we'll connect. I have a lot of ideas, and I love to talk about tech, and sometimes new opportunities are coming, like people to connect or just recommend somebody, maybe some great financial engineer or somebody like that. So I can connect with you, of course, or cybersecurity, yes, because it's a big, huge area to develop. So I hope we'll be in contact. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for all of you. Again, wonderful session today. I love the different perspectives and how you bounce stuff, ideas off of each other. Thank you for all the insights. If you didn't hear that bird, that is the 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock hour bird, singing this, that we're at the top of the hour. So thank you all for sharing your knowledge, talking about the emerging technologies and work. Lovely session. Enjoy the rest of your week. And thank you to all our listeners and viewers for catching the replay. Follow everybody on LinkedIn and all the other contacts and check out the companies mentioned. See everybody. Take care. Enjoy the future of work.
Everyone,
Thank you
bye
very
now.
much.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.